Well, hello MGTOW, welcome back. Um, this is not the video that I had promised you. I'm still working on that video. It's a story, and it'll be my first story here on YouTube. And because of that, it's taken me a little bit more preparation to put it together. But today I have some commentary on a couple of observations that I have made just by being around here in the manosphere. And this is not meant to take anybody's channels down or to try and criticize negatively, criticize some of the MGTOW content producers that are well intentioned. These are some things that I've noticed being here in the manosphere, because lately it appears as though some of these so-called MGTOW channels are hurting men more than they're helping them. They're leading men astray. They're leading them into a gynocentric path. So with that, I have to ask, why would these guys put videos of super attractive half-naked women on the thumbnails of their videos? Well, of course they do it to drive views, right? To increase their views. But if you were, let's put ourselves in this position, right? Say for example we were trying to get a guy off drugs, or a woman off drugs for that matter, right? What would you do with this person, right? If you were a doctor that was entrusted with the task of separating this person from their addiction, right? What would you do? Will you will you bring them the spoon and the needle and the filth so that they can inject themselves with it, along with the lighter, so you can light it up and burn it so they can poison themselves, right? Will you show him images of beautiful people having a great time taking drugs? Will you roll up a blunt for them? Excuse me guys, here it's a little bit of noise. So to make a long story short, what would you do with these people that needed help? What would you do with these patients, right? Will you conjure up stories of people being social and them being accepted in a group because of them taking drugs, right? You wouldn't do any of it. You would try to separate these people from their addiction, right? You wouldn't pump them up with that sort of imagery, So it's no different here in the MGTOW community. And I see that there are some MGTOW content producers that they can't find their own way out of a bucket. What do I mean by this? I mean that they are enslaved in their own sexuality. If you want to be successful at this, you have to be able to control your sexuality. And in this video I'm gonna go into a little bit of how you go about doing that, because this is the key. Controlling your sexual desires is the key to being successful, not with women, but in protecting yourself from all the little traps that that are out there in society. You know, all the little things that are out there for you to trip over, right? And when you go into searching for your dreams, you know, for when you go into searching for the things that make you happy, and when you choose to follow your path, your destiny, you know. So controlling your sexuality is key. And one of the things that these guys also say is, you know, that you're the price, right? That you have to become the price, right? And they say this in the MGTOW community, and I have to laugh. I have to you know, just kind of wonder, the price for what? Because this is, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is a rejection. This is a walking away. And if you're concerned about becoming the price, right, that means that someone else is out to win you, right? That they're out to win you as a prize, which means that you're playing the game. It means that you're making yourself available to be won over. And this is you know, this is a refocusing of your energies into a gynocentric model of human relations, and it's quite flawed, you know, in my opinion. It's quite flawed, and it leads men. It has the potential of leading men into all sorts of troubling situations. So don't worry about being anybody's price, you know. Instead, the price is who you become as a human being when you choose to follow your path. That is the price. Who you become, you know. Because the temptation is always there. The temptation is always going to be there, you know. And whether you choose to call, you know, these people, you know, these women the price, or you choose to call yourself the price, right, then you'll be, you know, you're still playing the game. You're still involved, and that involvement, you know, and the refocusing of your energies will lead you astray, you know. It's gonna lead you to nowhere good, and it's very tempting, you know, and the women know this. And you don't stand a chance. You really don't. So enough of that. The next thing that I hear a lot about in the manosphere is that, you know, if you act as if you don't care, you know, if you act as if, you know, women are the last thing that you're worried about in your life, they will come, right? And again, this is why would anybody do this, right? You know, why not just be honest with yourself and refocus yourself, refocus your energies, you know, into your passions, into achieving your dreams, into becoming a better human being. And I know I've talked about, you know, or I've spoken against becoming a better human being, but that is for the sake of others, right? But you do want to become a better human being for your own sake, you know, so that you don't fall into any of these traps, so that you don't end up taking the crooked deal because you know no better, you know, because you haven't put effort into being into improving yourself on a daily basis. So you end up accepting this crooked deal. So it's not a matter of acting. It's not a matter of, you know, acting as if you don't care. It's actually doing it, you know. It's actually not caring, as in not being concerned about it, right? As in, even if it comes to me, I will flat out reject it because it's not something that's going to add value to my life, you know. And even if the promise of value was there, you know, we know from the knowledge that's been passed down to us throughout history, you know, that true value is unlikely to come from this scenario. It's unlikely to come from our involvement with members of the opposite sex. So this is the way of the monk. You know, it's the way of walking away. It's the way of the true MGTOW. And so next, these guys will tell you that, you know, that you have to become the alpha, right? Or they will insinuate that you're better off being an alpha. And they separate men into these two or three different categories of being alpha and sigma and beta or whatnot. And, you know, short of flat out just coming out and saying you have to be an alpha to be attracted to women, right? What they end up saying most of the time is, you know, work out so your testosterone will go up. You know, your testosterone levels, right? Or they say, you know, maintain frame, or you know, dress a certain way. Now, I'm all for dressing. I'm all for dressing beautifully, and the reason why is because everything we put on our bodies is as important as what we put in our bodies. Excuse me here for a second, guys. I'm just gonna. Get the air going here. While, you know, it's important to dress, but not for others. You know, you dress mostly for yourself. You dress clean, and your clothes should be pressed as a way of signaling to yourself that you are a person worthy of taking care of. You know, other than that, you know, our dress has meaning, right? It carries meaning to other people, but that's not the most important aspect of getting dressed. I'm not going to go into clothing right now because I don't think it's important when it comes to walking away from women and this gynocentric model, which is what we really are talking about and what we really should be talking about, how to do that successfully. You know, these guys will tell you that you have to, you know, become a better communicator. They will tell you that, I mean, they'll tell you all kinds of things, you know, and the women are there. They're right next to them, you know, saying the same things. And you have to ask yourself, you know, if these guys are sounding like women, right? If what they're recommending is leading you back into servitude, it's leading you back into the plantation, it's pumping your desires, right? So that the blood from your brain goes down to other parts of your body, and you begin to lose your ability to reason, and you become emotional, you know, and you act out on these emotions. You know, if that's what they're doing, then you have to consider, you know, what it is that they're putting out there. You know, are you leaving one form of servitude for another? And like I said, the women are there. You know, they're there saying the same things. You know, and you know, I'll give you an example. You know, I've been on vacation for a week already, and I don't know if I'm gonna take another week of vacation or whatever. I was just, you know, kind of a little bit burned out from travel, you know, working, and I said, you know, I'm taking the truck in for service and taking a vacation, you know, doing both things at the same time. So I took in the truck for service, they fixed it or whatnot, and now I'm parked and I'm just taking a couple days off. And so, you know, I've been interacting with more women lately, simply because I'm in an urban setting, right? And in this setting, you know, people tend to find themselves interacting more closely with others. So I'm not spending as much time alone as I was. And I came across this Asian woman, you know, who was half Philippine and half Thailandese or Thailandese, however you say it. You know, she was half and half from Thailand, half from the Philippines, right? And you know, I mean, she was pumping herself, you know, telling me that 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 was the best mix, and this and that and the other. And I'm like, if this woman only knew who I am, if this woman only knew how uninterested I am in the conversation itself, how withdrawn I am from all that she has to offer. Then I met another woman who, I mean, I'm not an ugly looking guy. I guess I would be considered handsome in most settings, as compared to other people. I don't, I've been told that I'm handsome. I'm not a big guy.